Hey everybody, Jamie Starr here for the New World News Network today because apparently Tim Pool's panties are in such a bunch over this made up issue in his head because he has a word to put to it. Now, I'm just going to say, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but to me, I view doxing on par with someone saying they're gender fluid. They are equally as made up, equally ridiculous. And here we are going to have Tim Pool now spending money in New York City to call out Washington Post. And I guarantee you, the majority of people who see this in New York City are going to say, "What's doxing?" Like Ian during Timcast, they're going to ask, "Is it illegal?" And when people say no, then there's going to be issue. Now the funnier part is I've done a bit of digging I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to put forth a premise here that this whole kerfuffle is basically people wanting the internet to be a safe space and people wanting us, Tim Pool specifically here, wanting us to be more like China. So we're going to watch a little of this absurdity, and then I will get into my points with all of this and make the point that all that's really being shown right now, let me put it like this. Tim Pool can no longer say he is a fence sitter because the reality of this is if you step back and you ask what has gone on in these chain of events, it really just seems like karma to me if you're being objective. So, we're gonna watch and I'm gonna tell you why objectively I this is there's a saying like it's all fair in love and war or something like that. It's like if this is a culture war, this is what's gonna happen.
Believe me. How many? I know you're out there. I tweeted. Libs of TikTok was doxxed by Taylor Lorenz in the Washington Post. What do I got to do? Do I got to buy a billboard in Times Square? Well, I got one with the help of Jeremy Boring over at the Daily Wire. We were able to put this together very, very quickly. I got to say, shout out to the Daily Wire crew for helping make this possible as quickly as we did, because this is it's truly magical. I tweeted, the Washington Post and Taylor Lorenz doxed at Libs of TikTok. They included a link to private work details and an address listed as Lib's private home. They lied about it, so I got an ad in Times Square calling them out, thanks to Jeremy Boring for the assist. For those that aren't familiar with the
So, oh, I'm sorry if there's a echo.
story, let me give.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize it's my capture card's playing this through the TV too, so I won't fuck with the video anymore. So let's just ask ourselves. And again, we're being objective and honest here right now. Let's ask ourselves, what was the Libs of TikTok account? Well, the Libs of TikTok account would go through TikTok. It would find publicly available videos, TikToks, talks, whatever they're called. It would find publicly available content and it would then share it and disseminate it. Now, I know people want to get caught up in this, oh, well, it's an aggregator. But the reality of it is it was highlighting specific individuals with a underlying, message that something needs to be done about these. And we would see it in board meetings. And I mean, there is if you wanted to buy into this concept of doxing, there is a argument to be made that the Libs of TikTok account is a doxing account. That is its intention. That its whole purpose. Now, you can't make that claim about the Washington Post, but you could argue that the whole purpose of the Libs of TikTok account is to dox Libs of TikTok. It is to take publicly available info and present it in a way that will cause backlash, intimidation, whatever. I mean, teachers, I'm pretty sure teachers have gotten fired from videos they've put that have then been highlighted on Libs of TikTok. Like, there's a reason why Libs of TikTok rose to such predominance. So that's publishing publicly available info. Well, what did the Washington Post do in their expose on Libs of TikTok? Well, they published publicly available info. Now, we can say, oh, well, yeah, it's publicly available, but it's private, and this... Yeah, I'm sure the people posting the TikToks weren't expecting some right-wing activist to take their info and disseminate it against, towards their political opposition with the hopes of whatever happening. Like it's the same thing happening on both sides. That's really what sort of irks me about all of this. Like, in all cases, to just be like, well, what goes around comes around. Like, how is this A, not expected? Like, B, like, I don't get it. And the fact that people are in such an uproar and in the same breath can be saying, like, even in this video, Tim Pool again acknowledges the information found about Libs of TikTok was A, not hard to find, B, publicly available. Like, I don't understand where this outrage is coming from, except if you really have this level of expectation and entitlement that the internet is a safe space and all you have to do is have a username that isn't your government name, and therefore you should be allowed complete anonymity and you can be doxing whoever, but as long as you're doing it for the right team, it's not an issue. Then it's a public service. Like, I just don't get it. And I mean, this is like Tim Pool delving into full-on double-speak, double-think for the sake of being a partisan hack at this point. Fence-sitter, middle-of-the-line, centrist, whatever, Like, your far-left authoritarian instincts are showing. And you know how I can say they're showing? Because, alright, let me just point this out. What is the actual reason with publicly available info being given to political opposition? Oh, well, you can have fears that they will do X, Y, and Z. Okay, I live in New York. I can understand those fears in New York. I understand, though, that those fears also emanate from a place where my right to self-defense has been stripped. You see what I mean? Like, there has to be a underlying issue for this other issue to even have air to breathe. Like, if everyone had guns, we wouldn't be concerned about doxing because everyone would just have the attitude of fuck around and find out. But the problem is you're living in a state where you are relegated to being defenseless. The courts are against, like, there's so many other issues. Like, I really see this whole doxing thing as being like well, if we get outraged over this non-issue because it could lead to these other problems, like, it's like treating a symptom rather than dealing with the actual issue, when if you actually had, like, a right self-defense and everything like that, you'd be like, I don't care who has my address, you can look it up online, whatever. Like, I don't understand the safe space mentality and the fact that you are like people get uppity about these liberals wanting a corner to cry in, and you got these people are expecting the entire internet to be a safe space. Like, how the fuck? So, one of the things I wanted to get into, we see here doxing, because I wanted to look it up. When did this concept start? Where did it come from? So doxing is the act of publicly revealing previously private personal information about an individual or organization, usually via the internet. Well, see, here the thing is, this information wasn't ever really private. Like, it's your private home address, as in it's for a private individual, it's not for public. It's not a mall or a business. So yeah, it's private in that aspect. And that's the other thing that people are, I can't tell if they're intentionally misrepresenting the meanings and the context or not. Because here's the reality of it. When it gets into the is this illegal? No, it's not illegal. Why is it not illegal? Because the info actually isn't private. It's that simple. Otherwise, it would fall under like stealing, or it would actually have like you can't vandalize private property, and so I mean, I'm so like what the fuck about all of this. Um, so methods to acquire info include publicly available databases, social media sites. Doxing may be carried out for numerous reasons: online shaming, extortion, vigilante, hacktivism. So again, with this definition though, reminder, everything Libs of TikTok was doing falls under this banner. Libs of TikTok was a doxing account. It searched publicly available databases, social media, and it revealed information to the wider public that the people posting it thought was going to be relatively private to, say, just their followers. So, and you could say it's, vigilante aid or whatever. So, term doxing, let's see. I think it says it was first presented in West Point around 2003. So again, this term is like less than 20 years old. That's how new this whole concept is. So we go through, we just see, there's some examples of Minneapolis City Council used their Twitter account to publish cell phone and email addresses of critics. Let's see. And again, like none of this stuff, like political editor was resigned after publishing the home address of white nationalist Richard Spencer. Like again, so anyone could look that up very easily. This is all like, and like I just don't. So there are currently few legal remedies for victims of doxing. There are currently 2 federal laws that could address the potential problem: interstate communication statute and interstate stalking statute. However, one scholar has argued these statutes are woefully inadequate to prevent doxing because their terms are under-exclusive and they're rarely enforced. Interstate communications, for example, only criminalizes explicit threats to kidnap or injure a person, but in many instances of doxing, a doxer may never convey this and that. So there's not even a law on the books close to dealing with this non-problem, because that's how much of a non-problem it is. Because, I mean, oh my god, you've made public information. How can we make this a crime? Like, I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm going nutty because of everyone's outrage over this, and then when you actually look into it, you're like, oh yeah, there's nothing that can be done about this. Why is there nothing that can be done about this? Oh, because there's no actual there. There's no, like the actual problem is a perceptual problem of the person it's happening to, where they had a false expectation that publicly available info was like more private than it is. I don't know. So anyway, where is this illegal to do? In China. Oh, of course. Now you don't, I mean, besides this little Netherlands bit here, due to increasing doxing incidents, including activists, journalists, and such, a law was aimed at curtailing those with a 1-year prison sentence. So, besides the Netherlands, where it looks like it became an issue for the ruling class in specifically, there is, I mean, even in Hong Kong here, you see where doxing is defined as releasing private or non-public information. So, yeah, Hong Kong, where it is illegal, it's not publicly available. It is private info. So it's like if you released a sex tape of someone or their bank accounts or, things like that. South Korea, but China. And you just look and you're like, oh, where is this a problem? Oh, in all these wild authoritarian places. Why would it be like that? Because it's an unreasonable thing. The whole idea that it's a problem is the unreasonable part. So, considering Tim's dropping money on billboards trying to convince people that there's some sort of issue going on here rather than, I mean, honestly, simple matter of payback. And, I'll be the first to say, I'm not a liberal. I could care less what happens to the liberals that, all that shit happened to. But this is really like, it's just the way it is. Now, on a side note, one of the things I wanted to point out, because I know when people ask me why I'm very infrequent on here, I point out all the time that I constantly have 2 blocks on me, and that there's always a third, like the axe just hanging over my head, ready to come down. So I put out 3 new videos thinking we were in the clear, and then I get this, which, I mean, just check the date there. Can we see the date? September 24th, and this was like yesterday, that I got a claim on a video from 2017. This is what happens. I will have the channel, won't do anything on the channel, I'll put up a new video, and then next thing you know, 2 or 3 videos from 5 years ago are suddenly issues. So then I'm back to, oh, well, if you slip up, your whole channel's gone. So that's the purgatory YouTube keeps me in. It's fucking insane. So anyway, if you like the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support, you can support through my music. And if you think I'm a moron who has the complete wrong take on this, feel free to argue with me in the comments.